Hello, welcome back. We are going to be going into our third match of the day here. Sorry about the delay. We love it when software just decides to stop working the moment we need it to work. We love it. But we got it all sorted out now. We have Toyomana coming back. Second match, back to back. Just came off of a loss from a bio. Put up a 30-08 in his previous match, but we have Tarzan the Great going against Toyomana here. I feel like these two are pretty close in terms of, what they're able to put up in the tournament here. So we'll see how this match goes. I'll be doing this one solo. Kivess helped me out on the previous two. And it looks like we are underway. Getting them synced up here. We had some issues with some of the restreaming software, so I believe we had to switch to a different one at the last moment here, but this should suffice for now. We'll probably have that sorted out by the next match here. We have another match coming up as well, so we have a lot of content to go through. This is the third match of the 4 today. Once again, both runners are on world record pace right now. I'd love to see it. Yeah, I'm sure Toyomana had a decent match against a bio just now. 30-08 from him. That was his first match in the group stage here. I'm sure he's looking to put up a stronger time this run, now that he kind of had that first one to work out some of the potential bugs. But Tarzan, he has been playing this category quite a bit here. He's been playing RTA for about as long as I have. About 5 years now. He's fairly practiced in most regions of RTA and in time trials. He's one of the top time trialers in the world. I believe he's number 5 these days. So, oh no. That door can be such a pain sometimes. Yeah, Tarzan's one of the better players in the community here. Time trials and for RTA. There's a lot of good times all around. Yeah, we're getting into the first track here, Fossil Canyon. We do this track first instead of Jungle Falls to optimize the door routing. This tight movement canyonless that we call it, chaining the zipper into the balloon in the canyon to basically go through it as fast as possible. And they both hit it pretty well. Toyomana gets around that tree at the very end as well. That's probably my least favorite tree in the game, is just that last one in the canyon. It's ruined a lot of good runs for so many people in this community. Ooh, okay. Little spin out there, but at least it didn't go too far to the right. Sometimes if you get hit by like an oil slick, you can get like thrown all the way into the waterfall to the right and have to climb all the way back up. But this is a very good Fossil Canyon here from Tarzan. Should be a sub 1, and it is, but this is the cutscene skip, so we got a potential for Toyomana to gain a little bit of ground here, since Tarzan had a slightly better overworld. Yeah, it's a little bit slower than what Toyomana is looking for, but just under a 110 gets the cutscene skip, so he shouldn't fall too far behind. We got the first key grab coming up here in Ancient Lake. So it'll appear that Toyomana has gained the lead here, but he has to, if he hits all 3 of these initial cutscene skips, he'll have to watch the entirety of the Fire Mountain Amulet cutscene. Gets the key grab on lap 2 here. Tarzan's gonna be going for the key grab lap 2 as well. He gets it, runs into that rock. And there's a weird thing that can happen with that rock if you run into it like that going for the key grab. It's happened to a few players where if you kind of boost into the corner of the rock, you can kind of get stuck inside of it, and then you get trapped in it. Toyomana gets the cutscene skip. Tarzan following just behind here. Misses the cutscene skip, unfortunately. These can be really tough to get, especially if you get like a speed that you're not looking to get if you're used to a certain speed over another one. And if you don't know, the cutscene skips are one-frame tricks. It's just that very last frame of the race that they added on when there's a balloon to be acquired that gives you the progression for it. That actually gives you the balloon, and you can pause on that frame to get out of the race and also get the balloon. So that's what we're doing at the end of all these races. Jungle Falls here, one of the more tech-heavy card tracks. It's all about chaining boosts. Looks like they're pretty much synced up here, one lap apart. An 11 lap for Toyomana, that's very good. A 13 opener for Tarzan. The CPUs can really get in your way on lap 2 in the tunnel here. Depending on your pace, they'll be in slightly different spots. 37 for Toyomana, that's very good. Especially getting the cutscene skip to combo that. Looks like a 35, 36 gets his first cutscene skip. So Toyomana got tripped up a little bit in Fire Mountain on his previous match with a bio here. Had to actually reset the race from a small hiccup. So we'll see if he can clean up and get a more ideal... Ooh, misses the egg. If you dive down onto the nest a bit early, you kind of get caught on the ground, and that prevents you from turning. Especially if you're going wide or going too far inside, it can be really hard to adjust the plane if you're grinding against the ground. So we'll see if the egg is there. The egg is not there. That can happen if your pace is just a little bit behind, then the CPUs can come and take the egg when you're trying to go for it. See if he grabs it here. He does get it. But Tarzan will be looking to complete this a little bit more ideally than Toyomana is, so he'll be gaining some ground here. And he can skip this cutscene since he already missed one, whereas Toyomana will have to watch this entire cutscene here. So this will reveal the lead that Tarzan currently has over Toyomana. He's going to be getting right into Hot Top Volcano here. Of course, it is faster to hit all the cutscene skips and watch this than it is to miss a cutscene skip and skip this one. Tarzan's had some better races over Toyomana so far, so that's where this lead is coming from, despite the cutscene skip misses. 2 banana out of bounds here. So this is going to be a really good example of how important bananas are for your out of bounds barrel roll spacing. So he has to really delay this turn here, and the speed he can pick back up after the turnaround will be really delayed as well. You can just kind of do the turns really, really fast here when you have like 4 or 5 bananas, which is what we're looking for. So Toyomana has 5 bananas. So not only is it just going to be inherently faster, it's just much easier to do the out of bounds with 4 or 5 bananas. Gets the exit game, that's good. Tarzan's going to be happy about that. Probably isn't very happy with himself missing the first 2. Never a good feeling. Luckily, missing the first one doesn't miss too much time. Toyomana getting a bit tripped up in the turnarounds. If you turn a bit too sharp, too fast, you can lose the speed, and you won't be able to re-grab yourself for the barrel rolls on the straightaways. Toyomana also gets the exit game. He won't be falling behind there. We'll be getting into car challenge. There's a 10-2 and then a 9-7 lap 1 and 2 here. It's going for the fast finish, going on the outside of the tree for safety. You can cut onto the inside of the tree for the fast finish, but there is a risk for disqualification if you're too slow, either by hitting the ledge that we're kind of going past or bonking on the tree, and that would lose speed, and then you'd be too slow to get to the finish line in time before you get disqualified with that line. Tarzan. Oh, he barely misses that ledge. He barely avoided a bonk there. Toyomana also going outside the tree for safety. 29, that's very good. Can't ask for too much more in Card Challenge. Really all you can do to speed up Card Challenge is to just make sure you don't bonk. And you'll, most of the time, get a sub 30. You can get 28, but it's really, really tough, especially in a race. There's like almost no reason to play that risky on Car Challenge in a race. Just, go there, get sub 30, and get out. There isn't too much that you can do. Coming up on Frosty Village here, we got to see a really strong Frosty Village from Obio in the previous match. He put up a 103. You can see Tarzan showing off the really fast strategies here. Oh, got caught on that ledge and that pulled him to the side, so he misses out on that zipper. The ledges in this game can act really weird sometimes if you interact with them in a weird way, if your angle is off a little bit. But he's hitting the chain just perfectly here. You can see all that speed you can carry through that jump. You don't lose any speed in the air, so you can conserve it so long as you're in the air. Very good jump there. Should be getting like a 106 here. Gets the cuts and skip first frame. That's a tough one to buffer. That's one you don't want to have to buffer. Ooh, the ledge throws Toyomana to the side, but he does manage to pick up the zipper to keep his speed going. Snowball Valley here for Tarzan. Another key grab here. This is one of the trickier key grabs. Really, they're all tricky. They're all quite hard. But this one in particular, we like to grab a blue balloon to help us get out of this tight spot that we have to throw ourselves into. This alcove around this turn. Does a 360 to get in there. But gets through it pretty cleanly. Sometimes you can really get tripped up grabbing that key. If you dive into it too far, you can lose your speed and have to cover a lot more distance than you otherwise would like to. Jumps over that oil slick as well that's placed on the finish line. Hopefully that doesn't trip him up here. Coming up on the end of this. Jumps over it again. 2 buffers and a miss. That's unfortunate. Toyomana will be able to gain a bit of ground if he can hit this cutscene skip and not trip up on the key grab as well. See how he approaches it. Pretty decent. Smashed into the wall a little bit, so he lost some speed. If you time the boost just right, you can regain your speed after you kind of get into that alcove. It's really tricky movement to pull off. Ooh, those ledges as well on the sides of the finish line are really tricky. You don't want to be on them like ever. They'll just like throw you around and reverse your drift direction every time you touch them. And a snowball hit. Tarzan's coming into Icicle Pyramid here. See if you can pull off the fast strategy. 3 homing rockets to that CPU. Then clear this CPU. Looks like he actually gets the bad pattern here, unfortunately. That's really unfortunate. This might be the worst pattern as well. I don't know if he's coming up. Yeah, he dropped down. There's a potential to do a really fun strategy here. We'll see if he knows how to do it. So instead of chasing him through the tunnels, he's just going to camp on this central balloon on the lower level and just wait for him to come to him. That's a very good strategy there. A lot of players, they kind of get like really tripped up whenever they get the bad strategy and they just kind of chase them down. Even though there isn't always going to be a red balloon where you're going, it's good to just, stay where red balloons are. The CPUs will come to you given enough time. Toyomana with the fast strategy here, he gets the good pattern on Icicle Pyramid, so he's going to gain a bit of time. That's what Toyomana was looking for. So I think Tarzan probably lost about maybe 15-20 seconds there, maybe even a bit more. The bad pattern where the last CPU doesn't get shot at all and goes to the lower level exactly where you aren't. It's a really unfortunate thing to see, especially in a race. But it's almost out of your control what the CPUs will do. There's a bit of consistency with it. If you move to the same spots and shoot at the same times, they'll kind of do the same things every time as well. Every once in a while, they'll just kind of refuse to behave. Tarzan's also going for the early balloon usage to boost off of the jump. 27 opener. See the time difference here, it's now only about a 20-second lead that Tarzan had. Oh, misses a balloon there. Toyomana also going for the early balloon. Gets past those hills. Depending on what time you use the balloon, you might launch off the ledge at a different time, which could lead to different jumps. And if you're not ready for it, you can kind of trip yourself up and get thrown into the ice. And then you kind of bounce around, because ice is bouncy in this game. for some reason. Please make it make sense. Oh, the CPU's he was a bit too slow, and the CPU took his blue balloon, avoids that shot from the leading CPU. Toyomana getting stuck on that ledge there, and Tarzan also bonking on that ledge as well. This track can be really hectic. There are a lot of tight turns, and there's an oil slick on the finish line for Toyomana. Spins out, loses his speed. 123 with 2 buffers on a cutscene skip. Not too bad. Now the 4th race here, Everfrost Peak. We saw a while put up a very strong Everfrost Peak. I think he put up like a 56. You know, he's basically like overall, every aspect of plane gameplay, he is the best plane player. Toyomana also gets the cutscene skip with 2 buffers as well. Goes for a double for the chain instead of chaining into the ground zipper. That's a bit safer movement. Getting the single, then chaining into ground into the other single can be a really tough movement to pull off. So some players will kind of opt for, oh no. Plane bonks are just the worst in this game. Every single plane bonk, most of the time, will lose like a minimum of 5 seconds from having to... You lose all your speed, you get thrown backwards, it takes forever to build your speed back up. Barely misses the ground zipper as well. Toyomana also not off to a very good start here at Everfrost Peak. It's a very tight plane track that's super high speed. It's really hard to judge where you're going to end up sometimes, so you can miss your line and your balloons just barely. Sometimes you'll have so much speed you'll actually zero frame and go so fast that you can't even touch the hitboxes of the balloons. But here's the exit game. He gets it first frame. That's nice. So that's any consolation to the small mistakes there on your line if you're getting the cutscene skip first frame. Toyomana barely gets around that corner. Hover challenge here. Tarzan, I believe, used to have the hover challenge world record here. He's one of the top hover players in time trials. He's really, really good, and his strength is specifically snaking and hover A-tapping. That's what's interesting about players that are good with vehicles. There are different aspects of the vehicle you can be good with. Toyomana gets the exit game cutscene skip. Boost conservation is a whole side to vehicle mechanics, apart from, you know, the vehicle mechanics that are specific to the vehicle, like how to, you know, utilize like plane barrel rolls, how to utilize snaking and A-tapping with every vehicle, you know, how to drift around corners tightly with car. Tarzan is probably the best hover A-tapper in the game. He just goes so fast with any sections that don't have boost. He's just so consistently fast over everyone else. Kves is probably on par with his ability with hover A-tapping, but it's actually a really, really fast hover challenge here. Is this sub 110? That is a 109. He's just so good with this this track in particular. He's like 1 second off of world record right there with that hover challenge. To get 109 in a race is just so crazy. Like my best is like a 110, like a mid 110, and I'm like trying as hard as I can, and I just can't do it. See Toyomana going for the safer strategy of going underneath the bridge. That prevents you from getting disqualified, but it does cost a little bit of time over the optimal line. Now the exact opposite, we have a very boost conservation heavy track, Pirate Lagoon. You can do this big chain, zipper, boost, and then ideally zipper and then another boost. It's like a quad chain, essentially. Toyomana finishing up, and he'll be joining Tarzan in Sherbet Island very soon here. And missing any one of these boosts can really kill the strategy quite fast. It's really hard to get on the correct line when we're going on these speeds, kind of like with Everfrost Peak. You're going so fast, it can be so hard to get yourself on the right line every single time to hit the boosts. Oh, the CPU steals the balloon. Pace was just a little bit off. What you can sometimes do if you can recognize that a CPU is going to be taking a balloon you're going for, there is a second balloon that you can grab instead, if you're ready to do it. So you can kind of save yourself from not missing a boost. First frame cutscene skip, at least. If it's any consolation. Yeah, Toyomana now tackling Pirate Lagoon. Just getting around that initial corner with these boosts and avoiding the invisible walls that are like massively, they're just huge around the corner. They actually stick out way further than they appear. They're not tied exactly to the visuals of the geometry. They stick out a little bit further than they appear. It's really hard to work around it. Now Crescent Island, we've got another key grab here, diving into the water to get into the alcove. We have to work with the bob cycles of the tides to actually grab the key. It's going for it here. Toyomana misses that cutscene skip, unfortunately. He's going to fall a bit further behind. Pretty good tide cycle here. You should be able to get onto the ground very fast as well. Kind of want the tide to be low when you get back to that section of the road. That way you can start accelerating faster. This ship can be really tricky to navigate. A lot of tight turns. 90 one way, 90 the other way. That tight turn at the end, the intended shortcut. He's only got 8 bananas as well. Ideally, you can get 10 by the end of the lap. Throwing out his missiles. And it's a fun fact is that the CPUs will actually kind of react to your item usage, so another first frame cutscene skip. It's not always a good idea. Toyomana barely missed out on the hitbox of the key. It's really tricky to grab if you're not directly on it, especially having to be in the water, having the high tide come up just when you're inside the hitbox. It can be a really tricky section, but yeah, the CPUs, they'll actually mimic your item usage. So if you start honking a bunch and if they have items, they will actually try and hit you if they have like a mine or if they have a missile. So it's actually not a good idea to use items when you don't have to. It's better to just hold on to them and not use them to prevent CPUs from using items, which most of the time will negatively impact you. I guess, there isn't any rubber banding in this game at all. CPUs will drive on the path the exact same way every time, unless the CPUs are like aggressive with each other, and then they might slow each other down, or maybe they'll grab a balloon sometimes. That's what's nice, is there's no rubber banding, and no item RNG as well with the items that you pick up, so this game is purely skill. You don't need to be lucky to win, you can just outrace your opponents every single time if you're just that good. Hard one to buffer, yeah. Most people miss that one if they have to buffer it. It's a different timing than what people are used to. You gotta slow down your pause and unpause inputs about 25% slower than you typically do your buffers. For that section, also in Frosty Village, is the same buffer timing, around 15 FPS. And Tarzan going immediately into camping instead of going for like a hybrid. Oh, okay. It does do some of the fast shots, but in a different way than what we usually see. Oh, it's so hard to do these fast balloon pickups as well, because the hovercraft loses its speed quite fast when you let go of A, but you also need to let go of A so you can turn around, but then you need to re-hold A so you can turn around and get the speed of to grab the balloon again. It's a very tricky combination of buttons to get your hovercraft to do this movement in particular, but some runners can do it very, very fast. But pretty good camping. Doesn't look like anything horrible happened. See how Toyomana handles Darkwater Beach as well, but Tarzan has about, a lead of exactly one minigame. Around 40, 45 seconds, I would say. He's going for the fast start as well. Clears the first CPU with the fast strategy and switches to the camping strat, or is he? Bit of a hybrid strategy here. And what can be really tricky from this position is the CPUs could be in a spot where missiles might not be able to hit them, so it might be worth to switch to a different spot to camp these missiles. But it looks like the CPUs are quite close to him, so he can stay right where he is, luckily. Sometimes a CPU could be on the other side of the map and the arch will get in the way, or they'll get inside the cave, so where missiles can't hit them. Yeah. With camping, I think they did quite well with the camping strategy there. But Tarzan pretty much has a one-race lead right now over Toyomana. Oh, bonks into the... No, that's so troll. Hit the left wall, and then it just tripped him up on where he thought the pause timing was going to be when he was actually going to cross the finish line, so he kind of hesitated at just the perfect wrong time, and he didn't pause. And this one takes quite a while to get out of the lobby because we're in hovercraft, and the boss door is pretty far away from the lobby door. I don't think we ever did the exact numbers on the specific time loss for each one of these 3 exit game cutscene skips if you missed them. They're both quite rough. Now, plane challenge here. Hitting these lines and these barrel rolls, there's no boosts to help you out. You just have to carry your momentum with the plane's mechanics and just hope that you don't hit anything. Coming around this corner especially, the game will lag as soon as you get around the corner and load in the bigger section of the overworld. Toyomana also misses the exit game, so he won't be gaining any ground on Tarzan here. I believe the current plane challenge world record holder is Leah. And Leah's helped out with some commentary in this tournament as well. Big shout outs to Leah. She is just really, really good with plane as well. She's actually taken the Everfrost Peak balloon race record from Obio, which no one else has held that record except those two for a very long time. 56. Doesn't look like he had any major mistakes, but you can see how much faster you can go when you're just that confident with your lines that you can fire off those barrel rolls sooner than anyone else. Gets through the waterfall cleanly. And Tarzan's going into Windmill Plains, going for the riskier ending here. So at this point, the only things to... Oh, man. This is actually not very good here for Windmill Plains. He's going to have 5 bananas here. It's going to make this... Oh, 4 bananas. It's going to make this out of bounds really tricky to hit. I would say it's a very low chance that he gets out from here. Yeah. I think the barrel roll is a little bit early, and having 4 bananas, you know, ideally we like to have around 8, so that's 10% less speed to get out of bounds. And he's opting to remain inbounds, at least for the remainder of lap 1 here. Maybe he'll try it again. He can collect some bananas here if he's going to try the out of bounds a second time here on lap 2. Yeah, bonking there, missing out on like 2 or 3 balloons does not help. Go for 6 bananas here. A little bit less than ideal again. Toyomana's going for Gruna Village. Going for the out of bounds again, and he gets rejected again. That's rough. So Toyomana will be able to gain some ground, but I think Toyomana's a little bit too far behind to have a realistic chance of winning this match. I think even if Tarzan remains in bounds, he'll still maintain a big enough lead to clean up this match, unless another major mistake from Tarzan happens here. I believe it is faster to remain inbounds on lap 3, and he will be, yeah. Going for some time trial lines here. Nailing the time trial lines, honestly. So, a 146, about a 147 with that buffer. It's not what he was looking for. He probably lost, you know, around 45 seconds from missing the out of bounds twice. It is quite rough. But you can see Tarzan still is holding a lead here. But Toyomana is catching up. Yeah, from here, Tarzan would have to, like, miss the key grab a few times and then have a very poor Smoky Castle, and Toyomana would have to play perfectly to bring it back. But he gets the key grab, 14-second key grab. That's incredible. Oh, hit reset, but he still gets the key either way with that reset instead of the return to lobby. So Toyomana is probably around 20 to 25 seconds behind, whereas he was, you know, a little over a minute behind now, so... I know Tarzan's probably not going to be very happy with his performance here, but it looks like right now Tarzan's on pace to get the win in this match. 19-second key grab for Toyomana. Tarzan didn't do the reverse right away. He might actually be a bit too slow here. The CPU might shoot him. Let's see what happens. Yep, he shot him. He's gonna shoot him again. Yep. It's so rough. Yeah, that happened. He didn't hit his little 180 maneuver right away, so he couldn't get down and do his movements fast enough to outpace that CPU. You got to be right on top of it. Oh, he actually doesn't path correctly. He was supposed to go over to this set of bananas instead. But really the only mistakes you can make from here is outpacing these two bananas, but that should be the end. Sub 30 at least. GG's to Tarzan. He'll pick up the win. And Toyomana will be posting a pretty similar time from his previous match here, about a mid 30. Did get a low 30 in the previous match, so he's staying quite close to it. Only got one more set of bananas to pick up here to finish off his second match of the tournament. And that's going to be time for Toyomana. 30-21, but GG's to Tarzan on the win. I think we'll have some post-game commentary here. Tarzan.
Hello, hello.
Hi. So, I'm just guessing that's probably not the performance you were looking for this match.
I feel like I played pretty good for the majority of stuff, but I missed like almost half the cutscene skips and then 2 windmill planes. It's like, I don't know, I haven't been having an issue with that lately. So I'm not really sure what the deal was. It's by far the worst time I've had in the tournament. By far.
But despite that, you will be picking up this win against Toyomana.
Yeah.
So you at least have that.
Almost the expectation, but it's alright.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Cheap viewers.
Cheap viewers. Oh. But yeah. Where do you think, well, for one thing, you got a 109 hover challenge.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was alright. 23 opener would have made that a little bit closer to world record, but
yeah.
I think I got like
quite catch
2288.
Okay. Yeah, 23 opener, 22 lap 2. That's kind of pace.
It was like it was a 2405 opener, 2288, and I think the last one had to be like 226 or 7.
Yeah. I'm still working on getting my first 109. I'm around a mid 110 myself. I try as hard as I can, and I get like a 111 most of the time. But
I wish I could give you tips, but apparently I just
maybe we can trade records one of these days. Yeah. If that's how that works, I don't think.
If that's how that works. It's weird that I missed some cutscene skips entirely, and then I hit like the hard ones first frame. I don't know how that works. Like Frosty Village, like 106 with a first frame cutscene skip is pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was an interesting race.
Yeah. I think we'll probably have to wrap up interviews a little bit sooner because we had some tech issues and we have a match scheduled for I think 5 minutes from now. It might be like 10 minutes.
3 minutes.
3 minutes from now.
3 minutes from now.
I think that's about all we have to say for this match.
That's all I have to say. You guys will catch me in the commentator's booth for this next race, and yeah,
let's go.
I'm excited. Here we go.
All right, yeah. Next match that we have coming up is Obayo versus Anaguma.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned for that, and we will see you shortly.